All right, betters, welcome. This is Mitch with Better Picks. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So now we have Jupyter Notebook, we have Python, we're familiar with Terminal. So what we're going to want to do is I put up on the site. So if you go to Shop and Data, and I'll put a link in the description, you can download the 2019 season data for free. I've made it free for download, so all you gotta do is click on this and it'll download straight to your downloads folder. And then if you want more than 2019, you can. It's available for purchase. Just email us at this email address. And so once that's downloaded, the next thing we're gonna want to do is obviously we're gonna open terminal. We are going to see what's in there. So we're gonna navigate. Remember, so we go CD documents. And then once we're in the documents folder, depending on what you want to do. So if you recall, we can open up the Finder as well. Last time I did everything in the Python folder, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to do it in the tutorials folder. You can call this folder anything you want, just make sure you navigate to the right folder. So I'm going to do CD tutorials, and that's going to get us in there, and there's nothing in here, it's empty. So if I hit ls, there's going to be nothing in there. What we're going to do then is do our Jupyter Notebook command, and that's going to go ahead and open this. And then if you see, this notebook list is empty because there's nothing in the folder. But what we are going to want to do is, with the download for the data we just got, it's a CSV file called football 2019. So you can just take it and drag it, and you're going to go into your documents and then let it kind of do its thing and then drop it into the folder of your choice. So I choose tutorials. If you want to call it, Python, or getting started, whatever you want to call it, just make sure you drop it into that correct folder. And then what happens is, when I come back to our Jupyter Notebook, that CSV file is there. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to create a new notebook, and we're going to call this, I don't know, data 1. And then what you're actually going to need to do as well is you're going to want to go back to your terminal, and you can do Command N, and that'll open a new little terminal thing. And you want to navigate to the exact same thing. So if you want to do a shortcut, and so now I'm in tutorials, that's a little shortcut. If you want to type the whole thing at once, it'll take you directly to where you want to go. And what we're going to do is, I already have it installed, but I want to show you guys this. So you're going to want to install this package called Pandas. It stands for panel data, but it's called Pandas. You go pip3 install pandas. And that command, and again, pip3 is because we're using Python 3, so if you're on a Mac or if you're on a Windows, you might be using pip on its own. And then with Windows itself, there's actually a command that I'll go look up and put it in the description as well of what it should look like. But you can do pip3 install pandas, hit enter. It's going to say I already have it, like it's already installed, but you guys, if you don't already have it, it's going to install it. And it's important because the next thing we're going to do is, once we install it in the computer, then we have to go here, and the first thing you are going to want to do is import the Pandas library. And basically Pandas in itself is just a library of a bunch of different functions and things that are super relevant for data analysis. And then typically what you'll do is you'll say import pandas as PD, and that just means you are taking the pandas library and you're shortening it to the name PD. So anytime you want to use a function from it, and it'll make sense in a sec, you're going to use PD instead of typing pandas all the way out. And then again, so click anywhere on the cell to make sure you're not clicking on this cursor. So if you click here or here, wherever, and then hit the letter B, you'll get a new column. And so basically what we want to do now is, and this is typical form, you can call DF. DF typically stands for data frame. You can call it anything you want, but we're going to read in this data that we put, again, in our folder. So it's football 2019, and you can also see it in the Finder under the tutorials thing. And you want to do this command, so it's PD, so you're referencing pandas, and you're going to read that CSV. Make sure you type it exactly as is, and then in quotes you got to type football 2019.csv. And then I'm going to hit Command Enter, and nothing's going to appear to happen, but what really just happened is the computer read in this data set. So now if I type in DF, basically I'm saying, okay, computer, show me that data frame, and I hit Command Enter, and you can see that the data has actually been read in. And so the data here is exactly what we see in the we'll just open this up. So it's the exact same data in here. It's just now we have it in Python, and so we can actually apply Python functions to this. And one thing, like one of the best commands that you can do is it's called head. So you can see the head of the data set, and you can see this is what the top, it shows you the top 5 rows, and it tells you the number of columns. So we have 24 columns here. It's pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't show you all the columns. It has this dot 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 here. Typically, I don't like memorizing anything with any of these commands. So what I'll do is if there's something like this where I quickly want to know how do I get this, I'll just Command T, and I'll go to our handy dandy Google, and I'll type how to see all columns in Pandas, and see, guarantee you if you have a question, someone else has Googled it before, and Stack Overflow will have the answer for it. So just scroll down here, and then you can clearly see display max columns, and I'll go ahead and do the rows too, so that we can see everything. And so I'll put it up here, rerun it, and then when I do head, now you can see all the columns are present. There's no dot 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 anymore. So typically, if you want to figure something out, literally just Google it. Someone else has answered it before, and you will find all your answers that way. Another thing you can do here is if you want to put in more than 5 rows, you can put in like 10 rows. And one thing that you might be wondering as well is like these 0. So it's Python starts at index 0. So everything basically doesn't start at 1, it starts at 0. So you might have looked at this and been like, well, there's only 9 rows, but really there's 10 because, right, it starts at 0. So yeah, this is just reading in a data file. Start playing around with it. Start figuring out exactly what you want to do. But this is, I think, enough for now. And in the next video, we'll get started actually kind of iterating through some of these things and playing with the data. As always, make sure to check out the website where we put all our predictions and results. If you're interested in getting the data early for our predictions, check out our Patreon linked here. And we do everything for free, so every donation is appreciated. All right. Thank you guys. Best of luck with all your bets.